and Michael's going to give an update on SYCL. So over to you, Michael.
Thank you, Neil. Hi, my name is Michael Wong, and I am the chair of the SYCL working group in Kronos, a VP of Research and Development at Codeplay, and deeply involved with ISO C++ for many years. Today, I'd like to talk about three things. One, SYCL's past, present, and future, what might be in SYCL 2020, and the SYCL ecosystem in 2020. So a full version of this talk has already been posted in the IWOCL SYCL 2020 channel. And in this live talk, Neil and I would like to set the stage for the live panel that follows, highlighting the key parts of what is coming for SYCL in 2020. Next slide, please. Okay, today I am unveiling this slide about the possible future roadmap of SYCL, where in 2020, we plan to release first a provisional in Q3 for public review and feedback, leading to a final in Q4. We plan this version to be based on C++ 17. This means that it will be enabling exciting C++ features such as CTAD, class template argument deduction, and deduction guides that makes code less verbose. There are also a number of other great features which I will highlight. You will also see that we released SYCL 1.2.1 in 2017, and previously 1.2 in 2015. And if you were to predict that we seem to be settling down to a cadence of releasing new releases every 1.5 to 3 years, matching to the ISO C++ schedule, you will be correct. This is because we have adapted to a bus train model of delivery. You will also see that we have changed the naming scheme from aligning with OpenCL version to naming by year to allow us to be based on multiple backend options, in addition to OpenCL, which remains our primary backend. You will also see that we are projecting tentatively, of course, that a future SYCL will be released after 2021. The exact version is going to be named later, according to the year, and will likely be based on C++ 20, which is going to be released at the end of this year, around in Geneva. So this shows our tighter ISO C++ alignment, injecting our heterogeneous knowledge into ISO and adapting C++ features. Next slide, please. I want to show what a pleasure it has been to see SYCL grow since 2016. By my count, starting from when I first attended in Frankfurt to the last meeting recently in Barcelona, we have doubled in size by 2 times, from averaging 15 people to over 30 people in the last meeting. We continue to have strong attendance from Intel, Xilinx, Codeplay, AMD, ARM, Qualcomm, A&L, University of Salerno, and University of Bristol. Externally, we have been active in CPPCon, giving SYCL talks and tutorials in 2016, 17, 18, and 19. We have also had BOFs in supercomputing, 17, 18, 19. In the last year, we actually had a separate standalone SYCL BOF, along with our usual heterogeneous ISO C++ update BOF. At SC19, the number of SYCL events exploded from 2 to 3 SYCL events in 2018 to 6 to 8 SYCL-related events in 2019 in terms of papers, talks, BOFs, and related keynotes at various workshops. As you know, in the past, SYCL held an annual workshop called DHP-C++. I know it's a mouthful, in IWOCL, as it was not yet its own working group. On September 22nd, 2019, it became Independence Day. SYCL became its own working group, and now is held as an integrated conference called SYCLcon with IWOCL here. Next slide, please, Simon. So this is the main slide. It shows what might be in SYCL 2020. And in the top right box over here, you see that our general larger philosophy that we have followed in our design from SYCL 1.2.1 to SYCL 2020. We want easier integration with C++ 17, less verbose language that has smaller code size and simplify common patterns. We wish to enable multiple backends, but simplify interoperability, while at the same time ease porting of C++ applications to SYCL, improving programmability. We aim to strike a balance for performance and stability by enabling backwards compatibility with previous releases, but also selectively be able to break APIs to achieve higher performance. We expect that breakage to be minor from SYCL 121 to 2020. On the top left, you'll see that some of the features we already have in the can, which we are going to have talks about in this conference. I draw your attention to generalization, program modules, and host tasks interop by Gordon Brown. We will also have unified shared memory, a key important feature, and in-order queues from James Broadman. You will also see talks and posters by other SYCL members such as Axel Alpe, Brian Homerding, Baris Akhtamer, Michael Kinsner, Ben Ashberg, John Pennycook, Alexei Bader, Jason Sewell, Roland Schultz, Ruben Reyes, Alistair Murray, Rod Burns, Tom Deacon, Slinitsky, Botan, Alejandro Oliveira Ferreira, Dmitry Savin, Nicholas Kaimov, and Michal Rozak. Hopefully I didn't bastardize those names too badly. In the bottom right, you will see there are many new features that are still in the pipeline. And on the far right, you see that our main goal is converging SYCL and ISO C++ while continuing to strongly support OpenCL, driving to support more kinds of chips. The main diagram illustrates our philosophy of moving from SYCL 121 to SYCL 2020 and iterating the cycle with new releases every 1.5 to 3 years from previous to the next release. Next slide, please, Simon. So this highlights the already large and growing SYCL ecosystems, starting with the implementation on the left. And then there are the many research papers. Of this, I want to point out the exascale computing project and Celerity for SYCL cluster. The Celerity programming environment seeks to enable developers to scale C++ applications to accelerator clusters with relative ease while leveraging and extending the SYCL domain specific embedded language by having users provide minimum information about how data is accessed within compute kernels. Celerity automatically distributes work and data. I think some of their people are here at this conference. Exascale Computing Project, or ECP, allows SYCL to run on exascale supercomputer systems using Intel chips being built at Argonne National Lab, and it is aiming to reach exaflop computing. Much of this will be shown in Hal Finkel's keynote. There are now also several benchmarks involving SYCL. I want to call out University of Bristol's Babel Stream that measures the performance portability of SYCL along with other popular acceleration languages such as OpenMP, OpenCL, CUDA, and OpenACC. There's now even a benchmark for performance portability by John Pennycook. Over time, this has increased to a suite of 4 to 5 benchmarks, including TLEAF, that measures acceleration performance. There's also Intel's Jeff Hammond's parallel research kernel. It is a suite that contains a number of kernel operations, plus a simple build system for Linux compatible environments. Most of the code relies on open standard programming models, including SYCL, and thus can be executed on many computing systems. I love Jeff's conclusions about the usability and portability of some of these programming models. There are also many libraries for linear algebra, machine learning, and parallel acceleration frameworks. At the bottom, you will see the active working group companies attending the weekly calls, which is now 2 times a week. Next slide, please. SYCL 2020 is coming in a few months in Q3. When it comes, I want to urge feedback to tell us what features you would like to add that are not yet in SYCL 2020 and what you would like to aim for in future SYCL. So how do you join SYCL? I'm glad you asked. Next slide, please. In this one slide, you see all the ways you can join ChronoSYCL. 3 out of 4 of them need no money. Anyone can suggest a feature or a fix, and a small fee will allow you to participate in the design of the features. This is because SYCL has now switched to a much more open model, accepting public contributions and feedbacks, even as early as feature development. Next slide, please. This is my last slide. SYCL is creating cutting-edge royalty-free open standards for heterogeneous C++. compute, vision, and inference acceleration. We had a SYCLcon tutorial on Monday, April 27th, and there's going to be a live session on Wednesday where you can ask SYCL experts questions. But you can also do it here in the live session that comes after this. I'm Michael Wong, Chair of SYCL, and I encourage you to join Kronos in its effort to lead a portfolio of useful standards to enhance your company's leadership in the industry. Thank you.